Thanks for joining our UCI meetup for founders that we do almost every 2 weeks. Maybe in summer we'll keep the pace once every month, just again because of summer. Most people are, going for vacation, so I'll just reduce this to once monthly until end of September, and then we'll bring it back to twice a month from October onwards. So again, my name is Ahmed Zayed. I'm an IT professional and career coach. I used to work with big companies like Microsoft, Indeed, Cisco, PwC, Nokia, Alcatel, Motorola, and others. I've been in more than 14 countries all over the world. And I started my journey of entrepreneurial almost 2.5 years now. And I've been learning, like hell from, everybody. And was one of the persons who really got inspired by meetups that founders do in Egypt, and they learn from each other. They manage to speak to each other. That's what inspired this community to start and grow for people in US, Canada, Middle East, and all over the world to come and join us. There is no selling, there is no pitching here. It's mostly networking. It's mostly people collaborating with each other, and we get founders who want to share their stories and support other founders through their journey. That's mainly what we do here. So it's not a big room. We don't expect to have a big crowd, but we tend to keep this within, let's say, 10, 20 founders to keep it focused. And the idea is, again, to help each other. So a bit of ground rules, some ground rules, just to keep it simple. We try to keep the talking up to 3 minutes, just again to avoid longer discussions, and keep it focused on the topics. So I'll start always with 2, 3 questions to each founder, and then I'll pass it on to the audience to also ask the founder some question, and we'll break around 1 p.m. Eastern here to take the group selfie, and then continue to ask more questions after the selfie. Everybody's good so far? Awesome. So we'll start by Mohammed. Maybe again, a quick intro. Tell us who you serve, what do you solve for, and quick intro about yourself.
Okay, my name is Mohamed Ali, well known as Mo. Okay, I help founders and business owners to grow their business through trust. I'm the creator of the trust-led growth, which is a framework that's used in business development. I'm a business development coach. I'm a podcaster, and basically that's everything about me.
Awesome. Do you mind giving a little bit more about what exactly you serve for? Or yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I help founders find or build growth systems into their businesses through trust. The trust led growth framework basically is a framework that's used in business development. And basically, it's 3 layers. The first layer is personal trust, which is a set of steps that we take so we can be able to build personal trust, whether from personal branding based, of course, on the objective of the business itself, right? The second layer is something called capability trust, which is showing proof that your philosophy or your business is actually solving something. All right. And the third part is the system trust, which is we help you out on building a system that's actually deliver what you promise as a founder, right, to your audience. My main ICP is founders who struggle with growth and predictable revenues, and basically they want to learn how to reach out or to do an outreach for their clients. All right, I'm more focused on the B2B side or the business to business side. I have helped clients in Egypt and US and Canada, sorry, in Australia, and in Gulf as well, in Saudi Arabia, and also in United Arab Emirates. So that's basically everything about me on my
Awesome.
framework.
That's very good. Thanks, Mohammed. I think we'll definitely dive deeper into your expertise, and get to know how we can leverage your wisdom here.
Would love to. I'm here to help.
Thank you. Yusuf, you're next, if you don't mind. Again, give us a quick intro who you help, and what problems are you solving?
Right. So my name is Youssef, or you call me Joe. I consider myself a new immigrant here in Canada. It's been almost 2 years and a half. I'm a founder of a company called Passu. It's in EdTech. We help people learn language and pass language exams through AI and instructors. So it's a hyper model. Why I decided to build Passu? Because it took me 3 years to come to Canada, maximizing the scores in English and learning French from scratch. And I found this is a very challenging issue for international students, immigrants, and we've been doing this for almost 2 years now. So we help students who willing to learn a language from scratch in a very short time span, and help them to pass language exams as well.
Awesome. That's inspiring and exciting. And again, I think we all, need to maybe learn some other languages to, grow, and that's definitely an opportunity for all of us. Okay, awesome. So I think we'll go to the next question, which I normally ask founders. Hopefully, the other Yusuf join us soon. So one thing that we all learn from is mistakes. So the question is, what is the biggest mistake either you personally have done, or you've seen other founders today doing it regularly, and how do you think founders can solve that? Let's start with you again, Mohammed.
Well, that's a great question. Okay, now the biggest mistake I've done throughout my career, that was before the 2018 bankruptcy I faced, right? That I was chasing transactions. I did not build relationships. Now, basically, everybody I was selling, I was really good at it, all right, but I did not build relationships with my audience. There is a rule that I always believe in, that it's called the rule of 250. The rule of 250, that I'm going to ask a question. If you have a wedding next week or next month, can you get 250 people invited into your wedding or not? That's the question. Most of the people will say yes. So the rule of 250 is basically every person, he has 200 and other 50 people from friends, family, acquaintances, right? So if he is served right, he's got after sales, you build a relationship with him, he will be a lead generator for your business or whatever the services that you built. All right. This is how I built my reputation after 2018 collapse. All right. This is how I survived COVID. This is how I survived my business and revamped and rebuilt from scratch. All right. So the biggest mistake that I've done was chasing transactions, not building relationships, and not building trust. And this is where I found that trust is the missing currency in building a business.
I love it. Is there any, let's say, secret recipe for building relationships from your opinion?
Yeah, three things actually. Number one is you listen more. You need to listen more. Most people get into the mistake of talking more than listening. I always say the 80-20 rule. The 80% of the time you listen, 20% of the time you talk. Actually, it's not talking. Actually, addressing the points, or addressing the problems that, or the pain points that your customer is facing. And I'm talking not just in meetings but in everything. I mean, if you just like you have a business like serving B2C, which is a mass audience, you need to listen to your customers. Feedback builds businesses, build trust, personal trust, capability trust, and system trust. That's number one. Number two, don't promise what you can't deliver. Only promise what you can deliver, right? Number three, and the most important thing, what has built my trust, is free value. Build value, not branding. Value always rule. If you can create content that can make a difference, make sure that you invest in it. If you have a community, make sure that you're not selling, you're selling value, or you're giving value. Value is the number one currency that builds trust, right? And if you have value, money will follow.
I love it. This is amazing. Thank you so much, Mohammed. Great wisdom.
Thank you.
Okay, Yusuf, your turn now.
All right. Well, that's a very thorny question because as a new immigrant, when you come to any country, you have some challenges exploring the country itself. And I decided to start my business just a week after I landed here in Canada.
Oh my God.
Yes, and I was so excited. I won actually a contest after 1 week arriving in Canada. It was a startup pitching contest, and I have done plenty of mistakes. Some of these mistakes because of being new in the country, and some of these mistakes related to being an entrepreneur. But if I would highlight a few things, I would say the biggest mistake I have done is I was building a product for a year and a half, and I was not out there speaking to the public about what I'm building. And when I started to fundraising, many investors like, "Where have you been a year and a half? Why your social media existence is almost obsolete?" Like I was busy working night and day developing what I'm doing. So I learned this the hard way that it takes time to build connections. It takes time to have connections with the public. I'm in B2C, so I have to be connections with many students for continuous feedback. So that's something that I've learned, that you have to work from 8 to 4, build whatever you like to build, and at evening you have to network and be out there. That's the biggest mistake I have done.
I love it. Thank you so much, Yusuf. And I'm glad we have Yousef Gamal now with us. Yusuf, are you there? Oh, yeah. Seems like he has maybe an internet problem. So maybe he will join us again. Again, inspiring journey, Yusuf, and thanks for sharing this with us. And definitely, we'll dive deeper into your journey and understand again more of those challenges because it's definitely going to help us all. Most of us, I guess, are immigrants here, and we're all learning from each other. Yousef Gamal, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Apologies
Yeah.
for for joining a bit late.
No worries, no worries. We just started, a few minutes back, but I'm sure you were, dealing with some fire somewhere. Awesome, Yusuf. So, we did like kind of quick intros for the other speakers, and I want you also to do your intro, and then I'll ask you one question about your biggest mistake. So let's start with, your intro, who you are, maybe your story a bit, and who you serve and what you do, please.
All right. Thanks so much, everyone. My name is Yousef Gamal, and I'm a co-founder of a platform called BrainsMingle, which is a platform that we say it's a mix of Zoom and LinkedIn. So it has video conferencing and it has a networking layer on top of it as well. We have users in more than 90 countries, and we have more than 100,000 of minutes of conversations that were hosted in the platform. We are early stage. We have almost 12,000 users so far. And basically, yeah, that's it. I've been in the startup world for some years. I've tried a few other startups before. This is my latest one, and I am based in currently I'm in Montreal. Like a year ago, I was in Toronto. Now I'm in Montreal. Probably in a few months, we'll be back to Toronto. So I'm a bit here and there. That's quick summary of who I am.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Yusuf, and we're very happy to have you. And I know that I was planning to actually do this call on your platform, but I thought maybe everybody's still used to this one, so maybe I'll do this from the next one, inshallah. Okay, well, Yusuf, we asked other founders like Mohammed and Youssef Assad about their biggest mistake, something that they've done themselves or something that they've seen other founders, do regularly, and what was the main, solution for that mistake. If you don't mind sharing, again, based on your experience in your journey.
One thing that I definitely made earlier in the days, and I see many people do, is that they look at startups and the tech as if the tech is the solution. It's like you're just gonna build something, and the website or the app, this is the solution. Well, actually, it's not. Like tech is just a tool that you're using to solve a problem. So you need to first understand the problem, find a solution to it. Even if this solution is Google Forms, you need to try to fix it first. Then you can use the tech. So like earlier in the days, we were building a product called Decardi. It was a digital business card. And then we focused so much on just building the product that we spent like maybe a year just building and building and just think, oh, like let's add this extra feature here, let's add this new thing there, before even trying to go out in the market and hear what people want, what the market needs. So this is one thing that I see often happening, is that people are just focused so much on the tech and the product and forgetting about the actual problem and the solution that people out there need.
I love it. And what do you say, would be the right solution here? Is doing more discovery calls, and customer questionnaires?
I'd say definitely, yeah, you need to understand who are you targeting. Like one of the, I read, I'm sure many people are aware of it, called the mom test, how to interview customers. It was a very nice way in how you should interview others, understand firstly if there is a problem out there. And as soon as you know this, before starting to build this amazing best product, just try to find the simplest way to solve this problem and see if actually the idea that you have in mind is solving what they want. So for example, when we started BrainsMingle, we wanted to do speed networking. We collected the registration in Google Form. That's it. And we just like put everyone in a room and we got them to get to meet one another instead of building the whole system for registrations and all of that. So the simplest way, people need to start with this, the simplest way that you can to validate the solution that you have. Like as well, the book of Lean Startup is saying you have hypotheses and you need to validate or kill them as soon as you can. So you have a hypothesis in mind, find the easiest, the best way, the quickest way to either validate it or kill it, and then move to the next hypothesis.
I love it. Great wisdom. Very, short and sweet. I love that. Thanks, Yousef. Okay, so we'll move to the next question. Muhammad, if you're there. So the next question that I always ask in this forum is, what is the biggest leverage that you think all founders or most founders, need to use to scale, to, grow their business today?
Uh, that's a good question. How to let go is the most important skill and adjective that you need to have, because in scaling it's totally different than founding a business. What I learned throughout the years, that you need to be ready to let go. And what I mean by that in scaling stage in specific, it's totally different than being the founder. The founder has the risk, has everything. He can do lots of things inside the business. He can sell, he can develop, he can build partnerships, he can do a lot of stuff. But once you have a structured business and the normal phase, right, and it's ready to scale, you need to get someone who's more experienced as a C-level executive or something, and he has experience in scaling the business, and he can take it from there, right? Just learn from Google. Google and the founders, right, itself, they found the idea, they invented the tech and everything, but when it comes to scaling, they got Eric Schmidt into the C-level position, and it took it from there. Okay, now because they let go, now Google is one of the biggest companies around the world. All right, so one of the things that I noticed about lots of founders and me myself somehow, that if the business is going up, we go up with them without learning the necessary skills, without going through the heartbreaks. We treat it as a business that we founded and it's our business, but somehow you just need to make sure that your investment is worth, and your investment to be worth, you need to get the right people to the right positions at the right moments so you can be able to scale the business. So this is the most important skill.
I love it. Tons of wisdom here. And again, definitely hiring, the person who can really help you to scale is a big problem too. Maybe we can
Yeah.
dive deeper into that,
Can you say something? Because Youssef has said
yes.
something I really like, which is the lean startup method. Because, I mean, I like the idea right now that there is a lot of products that being killed after has been invested in for a lot of time. Right now, there's a methodology that's built on the same methodology of the Millennium startup, which is not an MVP, not minimum viable product, but it's actually minimum viable test, which is finding a niche before you even put a line of code. I've tried this with multiple ventures that I own or I invest in, and it's great actually. I mean, you start something, right? Like get some feedback, get some customers before you can even build the product. I mean, you will feel more comfortable in building the product. At least you listen to your customers or to your ICPs. So I really love that you started to understand that the MVP is really important. And I'm telling you, the minimum viable test, the MVT, is really, really more important as well.
Awesome. Again, tons of wisdom. Suhail, if you have a question, can you keep that to after the three questions, if you don't mind?
Yes,
I'm
sure,
not
no problem.
awesome. Thank you, Suhail. Okay. Youssef Assad, the same question, or Joe. I'll maybe say Joe for you and Yousef for Gamal. Uh, Again, what is the leverage that you think most founders need to use today and to help them scale and grow?
Pivoting and quick execution with AI. In the last year, we pivoted 3 times. I would say that wasn't possible without AI. And I like the idea of lean method, and I like the idea that technology is just a tool. So literally, I just give you a context. So we were focusing on exam prep initially, and we found that there is a lot of challenges related to this. And students asked us to learn the language with us. I was like, why would you learn the language? There's a plenty of platforms out there. There are italki, Bribly. Why would we build a platform for language learning? And I never thought that there are a lot of problems in the competitors out there, and it's not focused on exam prep or academia or business. I was like, okay, now we have invested all the angel investor money, and I'm supposed to build a platform from scratch, like italki or Bribly, which has been there for many years. How I'm supposed to do that? I need a lot of cash, and I already spent all the cash. So what I have done, we started something similar. We started teaching language without a platform. There was no platform. There was not even a curriculum. I had to talk with the director, the French director. I told her, okay, we're gonna start teaching language at night and build the curriculum at morning. And 5 months later, I was able to build the platform. And I called Microsoft, and they gave me $50,000 ChatGPT credit to build the platform within exactly 2 months. I burned about 21 billion tokens. So that's a lot of tokens. And I would say without AI and without the speed of execution, I would not able to pivot. The company would have died just 5 months ago.
I love it. I love it. That's a ton of wisdom here, Joe, and definitely maybe you can dive deeper later on how did you pivot in that quick turnover. Awesome. Jamal, I'll say Jamal just to keep it simple, if you don't mind. Again, the same question. What do you think is the biggest leverage today?
My answer will not be much different than Yusuf, that AI is the leverage that everyone that has in their hands now. I say like it has never been easier to start a business. Like many people, like a few years ago, everyone has ideas, but they say like, oh, I want someone who can build it to me or someone who can help me like to use this. But actually now we all have the resources. So like I believe that we are going in a direction that it's already there. Like instead of needing 10 people to do something, you might need 2 or 3 people. This is already like a fact now. So this is freeing up so many resources that we can do more. So if you have an idea, you can start you can build a prototype in a few hours. You can get a list of target customers in few minutes as well. You can, if you utilize the AI well, you can pretty much test so many different things, of course, on the software level. So I think like most people are using it, but not everyone. There are still people that like worried about like if AI is gonna produce bad results. But I believe at the end of the day, it's like how you are using it and what you are delegating to it. So yeah, I this is what I would say, like utilizing AI as much as possible.
I love it. Again, I'm sure maybe, most of us here are AI geeks somehow. We use AI most of the time, even if, we just want to buy a quick ice cream, we will maybe go to, AI to ask it. So I'll move now to the audience, guys. If you wanna ask, the founders questions, I have other questions that I can ask, but I want to give you a chance to maybe follow up on what they shared and also maybe ask something that relates to your own business. I think Sohail, you had a question before. If you want, please unmute, and it's better if you all keep the camera on. That's definitely a good thing for all of us to keep that muscle around, if you can. So he'll go ahead.
Yeah, actually, I was gonna ask, all of you, particularly Youssef. I mean, I have built, particularly, sorry, Mohamed Ali, because he mentioned MVT. I have built like, multiple apps in the past 1 year or so, but they're just sitting there without customers. I'm fine with technical aspect of it. I can build whatever I can think of. The major problem for me has been to get the customers to sign up to use it, right? So it's been a real problem. I mean, it's been there. All these apps are just sitting there, not doing anything. So my question is that, everybody talks about, a lot of people have talk about, MVPs and MVTs and all this, that, bring your customers and talk to them before you even build the product. I have a fully working product and I cannot bring the customers. How do you bring the customers when you don't even have a product? So I mean, that's like a, I cannot even imagine that you could do that. So please give us ideas on that. And then I have a question about Youssef, that he mentioned about how he got funded by Microsoft for, at least for the tokens. If he could elaborate the process, that would be very helpful for us.
Okay, so maybe the first question again is the chicken and the egg, how to bring customers before the product. Maybe Muhammad Ali or Yousef Gamal or Youssef Assad, if you guys want to chime in, please go ahead.
Okay, I can answer if you want.
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. I can ask you a question. All right. Now, what problem do you solve?
Sohail, that's a question for you.
Like, for example, I have an app that actually allows you to, the print on demand services. Like, you build the designs and you upload to Printify, and then they basically print it and ship it for your customers. There are lots of people doing that, right?
Yep.
Because of AI, you can generate a whole bunch of designs all at once, right? And uploading them to Printify could be a pain. So I built this app that actually uploads in bulk. So you generate the designs in bulk, then you can upload it in bulk as well, right? So that's one of the product. I have an audit management software. I have a whole bunch of. I don't want to waste your time, but I have a whole bunch of, and I think that they are very attractive. Sorry, go ahead.
Let's talk about this product. So you found a problem, which is I have tons of designs and I need to upload them to Printify, right? So you build the bridge between the design to Printify. Now, the most important thing before getting the customers is defining who I'm going to talk to. When I say, for example, the MVT, all right, the MVT is built on testing the need and testing the market, or if there is a market for my own idea. Market means that, or a customer means that he has a very, very, a very deep pain point, and he's searching for a solution, and he's willing to pay anything for it, right? So basically, this is something that we need to define. is it really something that people could pay money for or not? If not, so you don't have a market. And I'm sorry to be blunt this way. I'm sorry for this, but I'm thinking right now. I just need to define my ISP. I define who I'm going to talk to, right? When I define that, I need to understand how I'm going to talk to my ICP, what problems or what outcome he will get when he use my product or when he pay money for my product. Okay, so if there is a very deep need for solving my pain point, I'll pay the money. Look at all the startups, all the tech startups that we have in the world. If there is a very specific need, all right, I will go ahead and pay money so I can be able to solve my pain point, right? So you just need to make sure that you test the market in the right way. Go to communities of designers, all right? Go to communities for people who upload their stuff on Printify, all right? You just need to make sure that you are existing into those communities. The ICP is a very, very good formula. First of all, you define who you're going to be talking to, which is called the target market. After that, the decision persona, how he make the decision. Number three, the most important thing, which is the KPIs or what he wants to achieve, right? The three main elements of how I'm going to be talking to him depends on the three main objectives for the ISP. The number one is that something called jobs to be done framework, JBTD framework, which is what kind of functional job he will get when he uses your product, what kind of emotional job he will get when he uses your product, what kind of social job he will get when he uses your product. Number two is the behavior analysis or the behavior of your ICP. All right. Number six, and the most important thing, which is the buying triggers. When exactly he is ready to pick up his wallet and pay you to solve your problem. All right. So before getting the customer, we need to define who are the customers, who will be paying money for it. Right.
Right.
That's why I said it from the beginning. Before investing time in an idea, I just need to make sure that I test it. Right. And testing, I did, for example, I go ahead and test through Google Forms, through communities. I put a poll over there. I ask on LinkedIn. I ask people about the problem that you're facing and others are facing. Are they willing, or did they find a solution for it, or they are searching for a solution for it or not? Okay. Now, the next stage after that is building the MVP based on the feedback that you got from the MVP. And from the MVP, you start to get the money, you start to get the customers paying for it. So always build a business that is being ready to be funded and treat your customers or your ICP as your early investors, right?
Right.
So I give you that. Make sure.
Sorry to cut
Sure,
you
go
off. Thanks for the explanation. Could you tell me the platforms where you actually find those customers? Because like platforms like Reddit and all this, they sound very good, but it's very difficult to market your product there. Because the moment you mention your product, the admins actually remove your message there. So which platforms do you use where you find those customers to come and give you this feedback, right? That's where the problem. MVP we can build, and I understand that we need to have. I have also built a lot of apps that I have learned it very hard way that I need to have the customers first before the product. But my problem is that where do I get those customers? Like where do I get them to sign up? I mean, I'm giving away these apps for free to use, and I'm still not able to get the customers, even though the products are fully functional. When I won't have product, who is going to come and talk to me to begin with, right? That's where do you find your customers? That's where, what platforms do you, which communities are you using that you're talking about communities? Where do you find those communities?
Now, I'm not going to be talking about myself because I have a lot of following on social media, so I'm not going to be talking about my experience, but I'm going to be talking about others that I've helped, right? I find most of the customers are on Facebook groups, on LinkedIn groups, on WhatsApp groups. Okay, so when I post, this is the tricky thing. When I post, I don't post about my product. I post about a solution that I found for a main pain point, or I ask people about a specific pain point to share their experiences. The MVT is not meant to be sold. It's meant to be validated. Okay, so I have a solution. All right, let's say, for example, how did I find my TLG, or how I found the trust-led growth framework? All right, I started with a common question that, what do you understand about business development? That was the first question. Okay, I got a lot of comments. Now the second, do you believe that trust is a missing currency in the business or not? All right, that was the second question. Now, the third thing, I invited people for a free session, a free webinar. All right, so what I can explain a new methodology or a new framework that I found, which is the trust-led growth. All right, the first webinar I did, 25 people attended. Okay, now I did this often. I listen to my customers who are willing to buy my course somehow, and so on and so forth. I've helped people finding their service business, all right, which is a specific need, all right? So for example, I found someone on my community who has a business that sells dried fruits. Do you know the dried fruits? Okay. So basically, before investing money into the product, we asked the communities of healthy food about their experiences in dry fruits with other vendors. What are the favorite brands? What kind of fruits that you like to be dried, and so on and so forth. And we found insights. Those insights has led us to be building the business. Okay, so in the MVT, first of all, you don't sell, you validate. From the MVT, you validate, you give feedback, and you go to the MVP, which is minimum viable product. Now, let's advertise the minimum viable product. If you built a community from the MVT, right, now you start to have some customers, okay? Now, for example, again, I will go back to my original thing, which is I said, I started to ask questions on communities of business development and sales and marketing, right? I said a webinar, and then I added them to a WhatsApp group. Okay, so I have 25 people on my WhatsApp group. Then I started communicating. I started to put the community-led business development techniques that I've learned and I'm teaching right now. All right, and time by time, the community right now has reached 2,000 members. Okay, now those are my customers. When I launched my course, which is, it took like 6 months or 7 months, I sold in the first day of the launch 400 transactions, or 400 people bought my course. Okay, so I got the customers, and then the product has been developed from the feedback of the customers. And when I launched the product, it was easy organically to sell to those customers. So this is how I find customers. I find customers first, then build a product that fits the customers, that make them interested in buying or paying money to solve their problem. You see where I'm coming? Right. So again, Facebook communities and LinkedIn communities, Instagram stories if you have following, all right, and many platforms. For designers, for example, we have Behance, we have Pinterest, we have lots of things, okay? So those are the platforms. The most important thing is not posting about the product, it's posting about the problem. So it's about how you ask the question.
I love it. Again, Muhammad, shared tons of wisdom. Suhail and I,
Thank you.
some of the, thing that Muhammad alluded to already, is maybe to find a partner who is good in, solving those problems. If that's, again, if you're more technical person and you're not a sales person, or you're not able to find those kind of, ways to attract customers, then someone who can partner with you can help you solve that. But again, I want to get definitely Yousef and Joe to share their idea, because again, they were in your shoe at the beginning of their journey somehow, and they might tell us how did they solve that problem. Joe, maybe go ahead if you're ready, and then we'll go back to Yousef after that. And we'll come to you, David, after that.
All right. So you talked about two different issues: how to get the first 100 customers, and how you market it. So for me, as I have started building a community. The first day I arrived here in Canada, created a video about my story, and view. It was podcasted, and I got thousands of followers the first day in Canada. I remember I
Oh,
posted a Facebook post. It got shared or got viewed almost a quarter of a million.
wow.
And I was like, okay, now there is something people that want. If it's so strong to this point, then people want something that is truly painful for them. And what I did is like for a year and a half, I was like vanished from social media, just building the product. This is the mistake that I have done, that I did not increase the community activity that I built. So after a year and a half, when I announced the product, I found a lot of tractions. Actually, we got 15,000 users without paying a single dollar. And how I did this, I'm a mobile developer, so I wanted to explore how to get downloads from app stores because it's very difficult from search engines on the web, and it worked for my side. So we had a lot of downloads because people would search by the exam name or language name. But the challenge was we got 15,000 students, but the purchase rate was 1%. That because most of them were in Africa, and they couldn't even process Visa or MasterCard. So despite the fact that we had a lot of students, every angel investor that I met could not believe how I made 15,000 downloads without paying a single dollar. Into 2025, that's very difficult. However, we couldn't able to handle purchases, and we had to go through many different gateways to do that. And eventually, I had to pivot. I had to pivot because of the payment methods. So what I would advise, Facebook groups, as Mohammed said, Reddit. I was doing a lot of networking events here in Mirab. I talk with people. I have brochures ready. Yeah, here's my company. What is your problem? I do a lot of videos without pitching my company at all. Like I follow the rule of 4, which is you create a video about an advice, you create a video about a problem, you create a video about a challenge, then you create a video about your company. So it's direct selling, but I have to do other 3 videos, and that's how I was able to build the community.
Sorry, can I ask where do you post your videos? Like which platforms do you use? Like YouTube or Instagram?
TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and every platform has its own customization. The way I post on LinkedIn is for professionals, for instance. Like we have a lot of students in my company are startup visa entrepreneurs, so they are entrepreneurs and they got screwed by the startup visa program from immigration, and they had to learn French, and they came to learn French with us. So I had to reach them through LinkedIn and networking events.
What do you use any tool to basically post them automatically to all the? You do it manually every time.
When I started to leverage AI, I started to use Cowork to find the potential people in LinkedIn and screening LinkedIn 1 hour for me every day for opportunities. So that's something that I do every day, 1 hour LinkedIn screening. So when I wake up, that's the deadline for a competition. There is a program they have to apply. Yeah, and I spend a little Claude Cowork do that for me, 1 hour a day.
I love that.
Sorry,
Okay.
elaborate on that. What was it?
I built my own skills on AI.
No, I know, but what was the what do you do like every for 1 hour?
So I built my own skill to literally do what I would do. I would sit on LinkedIn, look for opportunities, look for amazing people to connect with, and understand like how the algorithm works. So basically, this is what Cowork do for me every day.
Can I get that skill?
Of course, I can share this skill with you, and that's how I was able to have like connections. I think I had like 500 connections within 2-3 months because of this.
Okay, I'll appreciate it. Do you have it uploaded on GitHub or something?
I could share. Yes, I could share. No problem.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Okay. Yousef, maybe Gamal, if you want to share your wisdom, and then I'll go to you, David, after that immediately. Thank you.
I think Mohammed and Yusuf, they shared everything there. There's not really much to share other than what they mentioned. The only thing I would say is you need to find who are you targeting, like who's exactly your target customer, like what how Mohammed was saying, and then find where these people are. If these people are in a physical event, go to this physical event and go and speak with them. You need to speak with the first few clients or the first potential clients. You need to hear from them, not to sell to them, but to understand if they have a problem or not. Then you would be actually helping them, offering the solution that you have. So I'd say you need to find where these people are and try to reach out to them, hear from them, understand from them. And then later on, this will give you lots of insights. I'd say like there's no single place where you can just like post somewhere and then you will get users. Like of course there's place like product hunt, posting on social media, everywhere, but everyone has their own different way. Like for example, in BrainsMingle, our go-to-market strategy, we're getting experts who are using the tools, and then they are inviting their own audience and their own participants, because we find that this is working for us. You can find I know someone else that he actually collaborated with a Facebook group admin. He paid for like a few dollars to just post a post, and then he got so many activities from there. So I think you just need to find who exactly are you targeting, as detailed as you can, and then go and reach out to them. Just reach out to them on LinkedIn, through an email, through meeting them physically, whatever it is, but try to get your first few customers this way. This will teach you a lot about them.
I love it. Thank you so much, Yusuf. David, go ahead, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you.
very interesting, right? So I'm like old school, right? So my background is like that's global, all over the world. So I was brought on more to do sales on like mobile operators, data center clients, things like that. So I was thinking the same thing. How do I reach out past my community? So far, I've not had to go past my community because I travel the world, and I find out that my marketing lead said I should connect my Apollo to my LinkedIn. So Apollo, and then you can run in Apollo different filters about different job types, different companies, different people you want to reach out to, right? So things like that. So I started doing that recently, and then I just came back from Indonesia, and then very large MNO mobile network operator. First sentence, and I know the guy, the CTO. I used to live in Indonesia. First thing he says, he's like, Dave, before you start, are you part of the TM forum? It's a TM forum. So they want to know, are we in the right understanding of the pain points of the client, because they also want to know where the world's going. So there's a big community of different people, like mobile operators have a community, data center companies have a community, fiber companies have a community. They all have different communities that people do not want to think about developing anything. They want to be part of what is being done in the West, in Indonesia. They just want to know, are you guys part of the TM forum? Because that's where the 1,000 largest mobile operators are agreeing the roadmap of AI, of technology. So if you're in there, then you know what we need, because they take the lead from these communities of what the roadmap should be. And so that they're kind of like telling me, we don't want to tell you what we need. We're already learning from Europe, from America, from anywhere. We're already talking about what we need in that area. Why do we have to tell you what we need? We're already telling the bigger group of people what we need. So I don't know if that's of any use. Like, is there a community like TM Forums where all the operators go to? Like, all the Middle East operators are part of that whole thing too. Like Do and Etisalat and like Indonesia and America, they're all part of this community, developing the AI roadmaps for what they want to see us as a software company bring to them. So if you say, I'm part of that community, then they trust you that you know what they need. Is that something of any value, or is that just what that guy's telling me? Because he wants three things. What community am I part of? What use cases do I have? Where have I done this before? What's the common pain points everybody has? Now we can talk about what you can help me with that I may not even know my problem. I may not have a problem because I don't know enough to know I have a problem. That
Uh,
makes sense at all?
it makes sense. I'm not sure, where is the question exactly, David? Maybe, so that,
Well, I mean, I'm hearing like how to find the clients and customers. I mean, I'm being told that the customers already exist in forums. They're already out there. They've already come together in groups of people. They're already talking. Like
so are you trying to, again, reach out to a group so that you sell one time for so many? That's what you're trying to do?
You find out, you find out who's all part of that forum, those communities, and you reach out to them. And then we're actually signing up to these forums, because once you're in part of them, you get assigned to a project. They let you join a project to develop your software for the forum. Now you have access to everybody that you're in that group. So we just started doing this last week. Say, okay, fine, we can't. You're going to make us join this community. You're making us join this forum.
Okay.
You're a big company. You're forcing us into this
Gotcha.
community.
Gotcha.
So I don't know if that's the right way to go, but I'm being kind of forced in this path, like, so is that something you guys have heard about before, like joining these big forums on different software development topics?
Yes.
Okay.
You have?
Go ahead, Mohammed, if you have insights. Go ahead.
I think I can help out. Since you have used Apollo, all right, there is a tool that I used. Actually, to be honest, I'm a partner in. It's an AI tool similar to Apollo, all right?
Okay.
But the beauty about this tool that it gives you a growth report about your business, and based on your website and your services or your company profile and the history of your business, it will give you the ICPs, all right, for selected or for suggested ICPs. From those ICPs, all right, you start to understand the behavior of your ICP. So you will understand what communities that they are joining and so on and so forth, okay? So mainly I use this tool before Apollo, all right? And it has also, you can be able to select the ICP and it will give you data, right? But Apollo is more because we are in the early stage still, right? So at least to understand where exactly is your ICP, so you can understand where you can be able to target your customers. Maybe your main ICP is on LinkedIn, maybe they are on Reddit, maybe they are on Facebook, maybe they are in communities, maybe they are just playing golf in whatever platform, all right? You just need to understand where exactly are they, okay? Because the ICP, again, is most importantly to be matching with how your services are being priced and valued, all right? So for example, if you're selling to upper classes, okay, upper class considered, or in the US market, for example, okay, so they should be making between 150K to 200 or to more, right? Started from 150K. This is like upper class, all right, and so on and so forth. So it depends on the value that you have, okay? And the second thing, the history that you have about your business, which is the clients that you have dealt with, okay? And this will analyze, or this tool will analyze, it's called Primus.ai, right? It will analyze your business and then gives you the main ICPs or 4 suggested ICPs, so you can be able to learn from them where are there, and also the buying triggers that they have. So you can be able to craft your sales message or craft your outreach message to them and open a conversation, right? So you just need to understand where they are, okay? So that will happen if you have the history, you have the services, and you have everything. This is something that I can recommend.
Yeah, okay. I think maybe, David, you can also, take this offline with Muhammad. Maybe both of you can schedule a call and let's say, who this can help. Yousef and Joe.
Advertising, all right, but I'm just telling you, I'm a partner in this. So
No, it's good. It's good. Again, it's you're solving. I think I'm also actually excited to give it this a try. If there is a free trial, maybe put the link in the chat.
it's
You
for
can
free
put
for
the
now.
link in the chat. Yeah, that would be great. Awesome.
Sure.
Joe and Yousef, what's your take about communities, about the problem that David is trying to solve here? Let's start with you, Yousef, first. Yeah.
I honestly did not fully understand the question, but if it's about like communities and how important they are in getting users, is it correct?
Yeah, I would say it's like this: is that like when I talk to like a CTO and I'm here to sell a product about problems and use cases and issues and problems they may have. They don't know they have a problem until because they're in Indonesia and they don't know the problem is in America. We've already fixed the problem, but they haven't got there that far yet. They're 5 years away from having the problem that we've already fixed that they don't know they have a problem yet. Because if you do something forever and you don't think you have a problem because they don't know a better way. I mean, to me, a definition of a problem is that there's a better way to do something. There's a gap between I have a problem and why are you here, Dave? I'm like, well, because we're doing this in the U.S. So like, oh shoot, we didn't know you guys could even do that yet. We have no idea we have a problem. So most of the clients I talk to is in the Asia market and Africa market and stuff like that. And they always say, Dave, when you come here, tell me what you're doing in the U.S. first thing. So I tell them that. They're like, okay, we don't do that here. We like to. So that's the problem they have, is not knowing that they have a problem. So they say, well, we don't really have, but we're part of the TM Forum community, and they tell us what to do in the global community, which is Europe, Middle East, Africa, USA, and they all come together. They're in Copenhagen in 2 days, for example. And we just signed up to join that community, and then they sign projects to different software companies to sit with the bigger clients to help develop the solution and the roadmap for these type of forums. So I'm just starting now to get my teeth into this with my CEO. Say, hey, I think we need to kind of maybe go into these communities, these forums, and meet these people on the roadmap for the next 5 years and develop our stuff that way. Instead of developing a roadmap by yourself, you think what they want, you get free access, not paid access, to hearing them say what they want to do. And like the big companies come, and small and medium, they all come. They pay different entry fee based on the size of companies. So I'm finding out, instead of guessing what the roadmap should be, you should be involved in developing the roadmap at the beginning, not at the back end, not coming later. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. And as well, like, always comes to me as well that the lean starter was speaking about something like this, saying like the answer is not in the room. You're not gonna get the solution while just sitting on the table trying to think about it. You need to speak with the direct user, direct consumers directly to understand what is there. And to the point that you were mentioning that they don't know that they have a problem, you might have a solution. You need to educate your user, which definitely becomes a bigger or let's say a different challenge that if they are looking for a solution. But one thing that comes to one idea that comes to my mind now, if I'm doing something, whatever that is, and you show me that actually there is a better way to do it, and I find that this is more efficient to me, that it's gonna save me money, it's gonna save me time, it's gonna save me effort, whatever it is, I'd be inclined to try it out. So maybe this is a way that like, this is why like when we're interviewing customers, we don't ask them, do you have a problem or not? Like we ask them like, what do you do for this specific thing? How do you do this? What tools are you using now? Have you faced any issues with this? How long is it taking? Like you will not ask them a direct yes or no questions, whether they have a problem or not, whether they want something or not, but rather you need to hear from them the whole process, the full process, and try to see from what you're hearing if there is something there. And then you can say, okay, like what if you try this thing? And then you need to show them the value and see from there if this is something actually that like gives value to them.
Yeah, I'm moving that direction, because when you put people on the spot in the meeting room about explain to me your problems, they don't say anything. They're quiet. They say, hey, you're here to tell me what you don't embarrass me in front of the group.
It shouldn't be asked this way. It shouldn't be asked this way, actually.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be asked this way. It's not about what's your problem exactly. Okay. All right. Now, basically, to get the right answer, you always ask questions with close-ended answers, right? Like, for example, do you prefer apple or orange? Okay, it's not about what type of fruit that you like. People get stuck when they have multiple options because of the psychological fact that there is something called decision fatigue. Okay, so you can't ask someone what's your favorite color. It's something, if 10 people will be asking them, all right, he will give 10 different answers. Same thing for you. You don't go and ask what's your problem. You say, for example, noticed,
I think
right,
we're losing you, Muhammad. I'm
most
not sure. We're losing you somehow.
that
Your internet
enlight
is,
something. Sorry,
your internet is, I think,
can you hear
fluctuating.
me?
Now we can hear you, yes.
Okay. Okay. So I'm not sure for the aware that you guys, but let me rephrase. Okay. Now, for example, I go talk to a consulting firm. Okay, and this consulting firm I already have experience with. And instead of asking what's your problem, I go and tell a story about a client or most of the clients in his niche, which is the consulting firms. All right, they face one, two, three, four, five problems. I list down the problems. Right. So which one do you see that applies to you the most?
Yeah.
This is where you find the problem. Okay, so okay, we don't have a problem with revenue. We don't have a problem with this. Oh, but we have a problem with this. Okay, or say, okay, we have a problem with all of them. Well, that's a good thing, right? So in this case, you have five problems. Which one is more stressing you out? Asking open or close-ended questions, okay, leading them to certain answers, you will investigate the problem, okay? So when you investigate the problem, you start giving the right solutions. Also, another thing that I learned throughout my years in sales, right? You don't just go and ask, right? There is a technique that's called 3 questions, 1 value. You ask question 1, you get an insight. Question 2 is a follow up on this insight. Question 3 is another question. Then add a value. Okay, so you dig down the problem and say, okay, in this problem specific, I have a solution that will 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then do you think this solution will help in other problems that you have, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Okay, so you always ask 3 questions, give 1 value, and after the value, you start to ask other 3 questions. So you lead the conversation, you dig down, and you get to the buying trigger. The buying trigger is the most important thing, which is the aha moment, which is, this is what I was looking for.
Yeah, I actually just came back from a holiday this morning from 2 weeks, and I was like thinking over in vacation. I'm like, because now we have we have a couple hundred software developers in our company, and we got like 3 or 4 marketing sales guys, and so our CEO thinks he can just use the sales guys to use their networking connections to get deals to happen, like myself. I live all over the world for 20 years. And I'm like, you know what? I'm finding my problem is like this. It's like there's different people in the room. There's like the CFO wants to talk about the financial stuff. There's a CTO wants to talk about the technical stuff. There's a CIO. There's this guys. So I got to be ready to pivot with different material to anybody at any given time. So I'm kind of redoing all my stuff. So we can have 200 great software developers, but there's only all that stuff is not going to help me land the deal unless I can get the hook. So that's my problem right now, is the hook.
Well, I can definitely help you out. Of course, if I knew more information about the business itself,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have decent experience in the US market, all right, and decent experience in the Gulf market. So I can understand that I can help you out. That's totally for free, of course.
Okay.
L'an prochain, j'étudierai à Bordeaux. Je louerai une chambre au centre-ville.
It's okay. It's okay, Joe.
So
All right.
I really happy. I'll put in my LinkedIn on the chat as well. Okay, so if you guys want to reach me out, I'm more than happy to assist you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and I encourage again everybody to connect with everybody. Again, this is why this community is there, to create those one-on-ones afterwards. Awesome, good question, David. Thank you, Muhammad. Thank you, Joe, Youssef, Zishan, Suhail. Any other questions, or maybe let's take the selfie and maybe call it a day for today. I think you guys did an amazing job. Shared tons of